Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khush amdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen.
Pakhair agale, ni hao, tune shumme, washmale, ohio guzaimes, guten morgen, hola, boyor, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chatore, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, swabia, bali kareya. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV Boy. You watching World this morning alongside the very fantastic, the very superb, the very amazing Shiza Hashmi and a little colder Shazad Khan as well. Hello Shiza, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you so much for asking. Are you sick or are you just cold?
Well, I'm not sick, I'm not even cold, but I'm just trying to look after myself because the weather's changing and I've been saying it on television repetitively as well, that for all of those people who know for themselves that, you know, they can actually catch a flu very quickly, I think it is about time that you really make sure that you're going to look after yourself. Please make sure that you do not shake. In fact, the person who's got flu should not be shaking hands with anybody else, ladies and gentlemen. This is something which I think needs to be a national responsibility, but people do not fulfill it over here as well. And whenever I, in fact, kind of, you know, tell everybody that, you know, okay, you know, I have flu, so I'm not going to shake my hands. They're like, oh, Jani, koi masla hi nahi hai. Please don't do that because, ladies and gentlemen, you can actually infect 2 more people with the kind of flu you have as well. So please make sure that you don't do that.
Especially in the times of the pandemic that we're going through. It's been so many months that we keep telling you, stay home, stay safe. So we do understand now that's not going to happen. We're not going to stay home. But at least, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure to carry all the things that you need when you do go out, which means, of course, a face mask and a sanitizer to be, of course, safe for yourself. And then just make sure that you're not clinging onto each other. So here's the thing, even if you go to buy groceries, which is essential, right? You can't miss out on that. People, without being considerate, are going to jump onto you without maintaining a social distance.
Exactly.
Which is, well, annoying to some people who are actually observing proper SOPs, people like me or people like you, right?
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's the individual responsibility of everyone out there. But here's the thing, even amidst the time of the pandemic, there were some, of course, you know, some good things coming up, which were feel good, first of all. And then I think whenever you are going through something that's sad or something that unfortunate, any small thing can actually spark up your mood.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
And before we spark up the mood, there's one more thing which I would like to bring attention to of the authorities which are out there as well, and that is that each and every restaurant you go to these days, every restaurant makes sure that they're going to ask you to wear a mask before you go in. But imagine the moment you go in, there's nobody wearing a mask. So what's the point of wearing a mask and just getting in the restaurant and that's about it? And if you're going to in a restaurant, ladies and gentlemen, how is it even possible to wear a mask? Obviously, you're there to eat.
You're going to eat, right?
You know, so that's not happening. So why do we have such bogus SOPs in place? I think everybody who's thinking about all of these things and how to work or probably how to go about it, we really need to come up with some smart solutions. For example, face shields. You know, you don't have to take them off and you can still have your food.
I think, yes.
Wonderful idea, no?
Yeah, no, I do agree with you. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But I think together we can just pray for, you know, to very soon get out of this menace that we're into. So the good thing that I was going to talk about.
Go ahead.
Shazad, do you remember? So when we used to be students, especially in the younger classes or grades, I mean, naturally, kids are inquisitive, right? You've mentioned so many times your daughter asks like hundreds of questions in a minute, which is, mashallah, a good thing, right? She has a good brain development. But it really comes down to the teachers or your mentors on how they respond to you, which is going to shape your, well, personality, of course, and then your perception of how much you're supposed to be inquisitive or how much you're supposed to know about the world. So, there have been incidents of some, I want to say, impatient or intolerant teachers where they wouldn't, you know, happily answer the students. But unlike those, I came across something very sweet on Twitter.
Right,
So this happens to be a teacher. She's named Ayman, and she's Karachi-based. I think she's teaching in a private institute. So 4th graders in her class, you know, they were studying science and were really inquisitive about how things work in space and, you know, what NASA does and everything. So what Ayman did was, teacher Ayman, she asked them to write down their questions, and they did all of them. So she posted the questions on Twitter and tagged NASA and all the astronauts in the thing, and asked them that, okay, this is Pakistani students, they're inquisitive about your adventures, let us know what it is. And with less than a day, Shazad, NASA replied, astronauts replied, and the kids received their answers. They were over the moon. I cannot just get over the thought that the feeling that the kids must have. I mean, NASA replied to them, right?
Exactly.
And I think this is the type of, I want to say, motivation or encouragement you require, especially from your mentors. So you know that there is no limit for you to land, right?
Yeah.
And I think the story was too long.
I
Sorry.
think that, I think you've made a valid point over here. But ladies and gentlemen, before we indulge in what the kind of conversation we're going to have today, I think everybody's going to be happy. But not just that, just a personal comment, and that is that, you know, I might have lost a little bit of respect for NASA because of Elon Musk and what he has done with the world too as well. And you really need to check it, because NASA comes up with solutions which will take like 2 years or 3 years. Elon Musk comes up with solutions which only takes probably 6 months or a year time as well, which is great. But today, ladies and gentlemen, it is very relatable. And that is that every time that we have been on air, we have been saying and we have been requesting to people out there that we actually need to work, that we need to work towards innovative technology.
Yeah.
Since we all know that we are an agriculture-based economy, and we all know that, you know, it is very hard for us to now sustain the agricultural or the, you know, agriculture-based economy, or probably the country cannot develop in different ways as well. And we have seen that in the past as well. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I think happens to be a very promising day, even for us, and I'm very happy that we are actually started to move in the right direction. We are moving towards bringing newer technologies, and not just, you know, getting them from abroad, but making them over here.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the first and the most common problem over here in Pakistan is cardiovascular diseases, and a lot of people just cannot afford the kind of treatment as well. And talking about, you know, all of cardiovascular diseases, I think stunts is one of those things which is very common and is a life-saving object which can actually save your life in a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. And the reason Shahzad is mentioning this is because finally Pakistan happens to be the 8th country in the world to create or generate their own stents. I mean, they don't have to import anymore. What does that mean, Shahzad? Of course, that means we're going to be a knowledge-based economy, which is the vision of the Premier as well. Inshallah, of course, I mean, I see a bright future in the science and tech department, but also we're going to be saving 8 billion rupees in, is it rupees? I'm not sure. I'm going to correct myself in a bit though.
I think it's rupees.
It's rupees, all right. In, well, foreign exchange, because we used to import all these things. And the best part is there are going to be different categories of the stents so that everyone can afford.
Exactly. There's one which is drug-eluted, ladies and gentlemen. There's one which is the ordinary one as well. But we do have experts over here. We do have people who are visionaries. We have people in the studios who made sure that it's going to be possible for Pakistan as well, and that we are going to stand in that queue where countries have been moving towards innovative technologies as well. And not just that, ladies and gentlemen, whenever we talk about Nust, I think it has become one of those educational institutions which has taken leadership role. Probably in when we talk about innovative technologies, we have had kids from Nust who've actually making robots, who are making new models of sensors, which we can probably use in our normal life as well. But not just that, I think Nust actually took the lead when they came up with their own incubation center as well, and then and then HEC actually followed. So, ladies and gentlemen, for all of those people who are working at Nust, a rich tribute to each and every one of you, because you're making sure that Pakistan will be prouder day by day. So, for all of those people who are behind this project, who made it possible for Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, they are over here in the studios with us. So, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the introduction is a little longer because obviously it takes a man with so many caps to actually bring it to Pakistan for what he has done, the kind of services he's provided. And I think that the kind of relief people are going to get because of the fact that, okay, one, we're making stunts over here in Pakistan, but number two, they're going to be cheap and they're going to be affordable for majority of the people out there as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, he happens to be the chairman of Medicare Hospital. He happens to be the chairman of National Interventional Cardiology Board. Ladies and gentlemen, presently he's the president of PSIC, which is Pakistan Society of Interventional Cardiology as well. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the one and only Major General Retired Azhar Mahmood Kiani Sahab. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning and congratulations.
Wa alaikum assalam. Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us.
It's a huge feat, sir. Congratulations on that on behalf of the entire country.
Thank you very much. It's a great achievement and the credit goes to the Nust. And I think you can be very proud of the fact that we are the 18th country in the world.
Yes.
Started, it's 18th.
18th is it?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
thank you for correcting me.
So I think this is a great kind of achievement. And as you know that this is number one, this disease, cardiovascular disease, number one killer in the world. And 80% of those deaths and morbidity that happens in this part of the world. And because we have got small arteries and we have got a bad eating habits, and that we have to
lethargic
correct.
lifestyle.
And then this treatment is very costly. It costs you around 2 lakh to 250 lakh per patient if you put in a one stent, and if more than one stent, it goes up to 3 to 4 lakh. And if the same goes for the bypass surgery, so I think this is a great achievement, and it's a good news and a great news for the people of Pakistan.
I'm a happy man today, and so is all Pakistanis out there as well. But alongside General Sahab, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to be the CEO of Innovative Health Technologies, Nust, a good-looking gentleman, dressed up very smart as well, looking dapper. He is Mr. Murtaza Najabat. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Walaikum salam.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm good.
It's wonderful to have you over here. So let's get the conversation started, sir. I'm going to get my conversation started with you. So we needed this a long, long time ago. Alhamdulillah, we are there now. How did it all start? Where are we now? And what is the direction we're moving in?
I think it is initially we thought that if we can be a nuclear power, and this is a very small thing, we should be able to make it and manufacture it. And started a few years back, and then I think initially was within NESCOM. Then when the Nust took over, actually things started happening. And as you know, that Nust had the reputation of that kind, that they are, mashallah, the leaders as far as these things and new innovations are concerned. Right. So this is the one I think they made these stents, and then we tried these stents in our patients in a local population, and both non-medicated, we call them bare metal stents, and then the drug-eluting stents, drug-medicated stents, and both have shown excellent results, and they're comparable to any of the best stents like American Stents, Zeiss, which is the Abbott company, and so this is one of the leader in the stent technology, and you can compare these stents, their results, with those stents.
And so have they been observed and investigated by, let's say, outsiders?
I think 50, 60 cases were being observed.
Yeah. Those have been, they've been multi-center, there was trial, they were carried out at Alpine Institute of Cardiology when I was the head of and the chief interventional cardiologist there. And second center was National Institute of Cardiovascular Disease, Karachi, NICVD, a big center which does, I think, more than 30 angioplasties per day.
Wow.
So that's a huge number they are doing over there, and we tried at both centers, and mashallah come up with a very good results. Amazing. So it's comparable and it's doable, and then ready to be used. The patients, I think the patients, they are doing very well. It was a 1 year study, and at the end of the 1 year, the percentage of complication or anything is less than what is already seen the best stents in the world.
Wow, that's just amazing. I mean, like we already mentioned, it's a good day and it's a good time for Pakistan. But the Premier, Imran Khan Sahab, actually inaugurated this, right? Murtaza, you let us know how he felt personally about this. And also, other than the stents, what are some of the things that you guys are now developing and looking forward to developing?
First of all, I would like to add one thing with respect to the testing and trials of the stents we have developed.
Yes.
Before getting into clinical trials, where General Saab he was having a leadership role, these stents, both bare metal stents and drug-eluting stents, they went through a very extensive lab-based trials in Germany, where the performance and the biocompatibility of these stents were evaluated. Wow. And subsequently they were subjected to animal trials in Poland. And during the animal trials, they were evaluated in comparison with the American stents. And then we initiated clinical trials where General Saab was having a leadership role in both Rawalpindi Institute of Cardiology and National Institute of Cardiovascular Diseases in Karachi. And yes, of course, Prime Minister was very pleased with the development we have done, and he was he has also been briefed with the upcoming products like ventilators, and we have also developed powered air purifying respirator.
Wow.
During the pandemic outbreak, the developed countries, the regulatory bodies in the developed countries, they have actually recommended their physicians and surgeons to carry out the long surgical procedures without wearing N95 and N95 mask. Instead, they have recommended that they should wear PAPR device, which is powered air purifying respirator. We have developed that device here. Wow. Aga Khan Hospital and Mayo Hospital, they have procured it a few months ago, and one unit, it cost them about 300,000 rupees. Wow. And our device has it went through all lab trials, and clinical trials in Shifa International Hospital and of course Rawalpindi Institute of Cardiology, and we are going to initiate its production very soon, and we are aiming to launch it between 20 to 30,000 rupees.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah.
But before we speak about what are the other technological aspects you're working on, I think we really need to focus on the kind and the different variation of stunts being produced over here in Pakistan. So please make sure that you let everybody know of what kind of stunts are we making over here, who's going to benefit from them, and what is the price cap.
Yeah, currently we are producing three different products. One is bare metal stent, which is composed of cobalt chromium alloy. That is a very superior alloy, and I hope you people, if they are not aware with the stent procedure, the stent it's basically a balloon expandable stent. It has a balloon, and at the tip of the balloon, a stent is mounted. So during the procedure, both the units, the catheter, the delivery catheter, along with the mounted stent, is inserted generally from right arm right to the coronary artery of the heart, and then the balloon gets inflated, and due to that the stent gets expanded and gets the anchorage with the vessel wall, and it opens up the blocked artery. And afterwards, the balloon is deflated and retracted back, and stent stays anchored there. So that is the bare metal stent. The second stent is drug-eluting stent, which is medicated. It has a polymer drug formulation coated over the surface of the stent. That is a second generation drug-eluting stent which we have developed, and we are going to launch it around 35 to 40,000 rupees, and the cost of that stent currently of that generation starts from 60,000 to 100,000
So half
rupees.
the price.
100,000 rupees.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So the third product is angioplasty balloon catheter, and we are going to launch by the end of next year third generation of drug-eluting stent. We've been working for the last 1 year, and let me just apprise you with the fact that it's academia industry linkage, and we have our own research wing at Nust, which is very well established, and we have two different domains within that research wing. One wing, one domain is working on the upcoming products like new generation of stents, and there is another dedicated team in that research wing who are developing machines, because initially we spent millions in Germany for the procurement of production and testing machines. Wow. So now we are developing those machines in Pakistan, and let me tell you that, for instance, if we got one machine of about 25,000 euros, we developed it here in 500 euros.
The same machine?
The same
So is it
machine with
reverse
the same results, with the
That's
same
amazing.
results.
Wow.
And the facility, the production facility, is ISO 13485 certified from European Commission licensed notified body. The European inspectors, they came here, they carried out an extensive inspections, and eventually we got the certification. Same thing happened with the DRAP inspectors. They came, and we eventually got the manufacturing license from DRAP.
Right.
So
that's brilliant. That's brilliant. And, congratulations again on that. But, Shahzad, when we talk about these things, I think it goes without saying, though, but there are so many malpractices that will now be stopped. And the best part is the employment opportunities that you are raising, of course, for people who have studied bioengineering or biotechnology for that matter, which is a good thing now. And now coming to you, sir, like we mentioned that we will be able to save a lot in foreign exchange, which definitely means, inshallah, sooner or later, we're going to be exporting. In our own region, I think, other than Turkey, no one does it. What do you see, in terms of this specifically in the future?
Yeah, I think we are doing the workload and the volume is huge in Pakistan. We're doing almost more than 45,000 angioplasties per year in Pakistan.
Okay.
And in every angioplasty, we're using more than 2 stents.
Okay.
So that's, I think it's going to be
90,000.
Yes,
90, 45, and then
100,000
yes.
plus, 100,000 plus, 2 to 3 stents maybe per angioplasty.
Okay.
So you'll be needing these kind of stents and the capacity of your manufacturing facility.
Right.
So I think initially we'll try to catch up with the requirement, and once we have met our own requirement, then we'll be able to export these to Central Asian state, to Africa, and Middle East, and even Europe, because our stent will be much cheaper than the other stents, and quality-wise comparable to one of the best stents in the world. So this is going to be, I think, a major breakthrough as far as this thing is concerned. Then another thing is, there's an indigenous product. You don't have to depend on other people. Whenever there are problems of some kind of this, like this COVID crisis, where you are unable to import the things, and you get the shortage of all these devices, then you are very handicapped that you can't treat your patient. So now you are manufacturing within your own country, and demand and supply, and the supply is there all the time, round the clock, 24/7.
Okay, sir. Now, I think what I need to ask over here is in connection with what Murtaza Saab said, that that we are going to move on towards the producing the third generation of the stunts as well over here in Pakistan, which is great. But I know that it is a very odd example, but on a very lighter note, we all know that the Pakistani film industry back in 1980s and 70s was a booming industry, and everybody loved it all over the subcontinent. And eventually they didn't keep their pace up with the technological advancements within the industry, for example, cameras, mics and whatnot. So we had a downfall. Eventually, same is the case with each and every aspect in life. So, talking about the third generation, if we need to export, we need a continuous investment onto the kind of machinery which was being imported from Germany, or for that matter from any other part of the country. So are we looking into that as well, that okay, we've made this, but there needs to be constant improvement and technological advancement within the process, so that we are the market leaders one day as well? Whoever wants to answer.
Yeah, I think it's the leadership is there as far as it's with the Nust. At the Nust, they are very futuristic institution, and they always look on these things. And at the same time, these things are already in the progress, and they're catering for all these kind of things. And the best is the right person to answer this question.
Here we are actually paying equal importance and attention to research, apart from production, because we know that every product has a life cycle. So if we if we are not preparing ourselves for the future, after few years time, that product will get into an obsolescence, and that will be obsoleted from the market.
Yeah.
So we are paying equal importance in that, and it's a research driven industry. So it has to be with the with the paraphernalia which is available in terms of research. So then I think Nust is the best venue for that kind of initiative in Pakistan to start with.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And I think one thing we're missing out is a comment just to
Yeah.
add over here. Like you mentioned, Shahzad, this thing should have been done ages ago. Obviously, Pakistan needed it. But I think the Ministry of Science and Technology, under the leadership of Fawad Chaudhry Saab, actually funded this program, isn't it?
Wow.
So,
Wonderful.
Right, which is brilliant, because we needed to
Exactly.
do this for so long.
And
it's
I
finally
think that
happening.
he's actually the right guy to head this ministry as
Really?
well,
Okay.
because now I think everybody talks about it as well, and I think it was the Premier's amazing decision to actually post him over there as well. But not just that. Now, sir, there are two things. First of all, obviously, to give complete awareness about the stunts which the Nust University is making actually. What I need to ask is, where are these stunts available, first off? What are the cost of all of these three different categories? And number two is, how do you think that we are going to change that image within the Pakistani's head, that the local one is better than the imported one? I think that is an area which we'll have to work on, because whenever we talk about manufacturing, whatever, it does take a lot of marketing to make sure that it's out there in the market and that people have trust in it.
Especially the local product.
Yeah.
Yes, he's right.
So we are planning to launch our bare metal stent of about rupees 15,000.
15,000.
15,000.
Wow.
Yeah. And
I can get a stunt every day.
and
God
yes.
I
forbid
hope
it.
not.
I hope we don't need it, yeah.
And the drug-eluting stent will be of 35,000 rupees, and the angioplasty balloon catheter will be around 10,000 rupees.
And can you tell us that what were the prices of all of those stunts which people used to get earlier as well, which were the imported ones?
Yeah, because a few years ago there was a scandal took place, and Supreme Court took serious notice, and we got the mandate. They called upon Rector Nust, General Naveed Zaman, and me in the Prime Minister office, and we've been given directions to set up this facility here. So prior to that scandal, these products were decontrolled. They were not controlled. Okay. So now they are controlled, and the drug-eluting stent is, it starts from 65,000 to 100,000 rupees. And prior to that scandal, it was about 150,000. It used to start from 150,000 rupees to 250,000 rupees. Yeah.
Okay.
So same goes for bare metal stent. Previously, it used to start like 50,000 rupees to 70,000 rupees. Now it is like 30,000, 40,000 rupees.
The one we're making?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The one we are making is going to be about 15,000 rupees.
15,000.
Yeah.
Wow, wonderful.
All right, which is brilliant. Now, towards the end of the segment, just one quick question, which has sort of been answered, but to just get it clear. So, like he mentioned, the cost of all this. Does this mean that we won't be importing any such stuff in the future? Is it all going to be the local stuff that we're going to be used? Also, is there like officially a cap that the government put that no private institution or the public one can actually go beyond that?
Yeah, I think it's not that we are going to completely replace all those imported stands with the local made stands. A certain kind of percentage will be using these stands and the other stands which are imported, because those are also very good stands, depending upon the I think comfort of the operator, interventional cardiologist, what kind of stents you want to use. But I think having said that, with this stent, you have to generate that kind of comfort within the interventional cardiology. And then once they feel comfortable using this stent, then that will be a great success. And they already know it, that it's a good stent. I've used it myself. I've carried out trials here and then in NICVD with Professor Nadeem Rizvi. And we've been very, very happy with this stent. And hopefully, I think this will work in the future. Having said that, I think with the stent scam, when the Supreme Court took suo moto notice, they made a National Interventional Cardiology Board, and I was appointed by the Supreme Court as chairman of that board. And the function of that board was to categorize these stents and fix the prices and put the upper cap and the ceiling kind of a thing, that this should not go beyond that.
Which applies
so
to
no
everyone.
stent is sold more than 1 lakh. The best one, the latest version, is sold more than 1 lakh in Pakistan. And the first generation stents, they are between 40 to 50,000, and the second generation, they are around 67 or 70,000 rupees. But this stent will be cheaper than that, and even the bare metal stent will be much cheaper, than, maybe cheaper than 15,000.
Wow.
And the drug-eluting stent will be between 30 and 35,000, and they're readily available within the country.
So if someone tells me otherwise, can I sue them?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the I think a kind of situation we have right now at the moment. And but I think the only thing which is good about this stent is that it's readily available. It's being manufactured in Pakistan. It's an indigenous product, and we should use our own product in Pakistan.
Totally.
That's the message, that once you feel comfortable, once you think that the stent is good for the patient and is safe for the patient, and you establish the efficacy of this stent, then one should use this.
And so especially, I think we're going to believe this coming out of your mouth, because you've been in the business for so many years, mashallah, and not just one or two, you've been the head of so many departments as well. The ones which, well, I have personal experience with as well. So I'm telling you, but this is the way forward as well. Pakistan is headed in the right direction. Exactly the note we started the show with.
Exactly. So thank you very much, gentlemen,
so much
for being with us. It was lovely to be in
you.
conversation, and thank you very much for giving such a good news to Pakistan as well.
Yes.
But it is for all of those people who are out there, ladies and gentlemen, and it is for our convenience as well. It is to save a lot of money for the country. It is so that the country can actually progress as well. But we need to play our role. We need to trust the product which is being made in Pakistan as well. It has been tested. It has been tested internationally as well. They've got a year-long case study as well, and everybody's doing perfectly well. But God forbid, if somebody tells you that the one we're making over here in Pakistan is not available, what should we do? Very quickly.
It should be able to market it at the end of December.
Okay.
Yeah, not before that.
All
Because
right.
there are certain procedures.
And after
we have
December,
to
you will get it easily.
easily.
All right. So wonderful that is, ladies and gentlemen. Please make sure that you don't ask it before December. I don't know what they're going to give you as well. But ladies and gentlemen, I think this is the way forward. And every individual within their own capacity has got some amazing talents over here in Pakistan. All we need to do is probably look into where our interests are, because that's where the talent lies. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going for a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
Morning.
Good morning. Welcome back to Well this morning, ladies and gentlemen, with the very happening, energetic Shazad Khan and Shaza Hashmi. So here on the show today, we are discussing all the amazing Pakistani people who are bringing a good name to Pakistan first, yes, and then bringing the technology to Pakistan to be at par with the international standards and, well, have all the facilities over here within the country. How amazing is that?
Exactly, it is really amazing. But ladies and gentlemen, talking about what Shiza actually said and carrying it forward, I think that, earlier we were in conversation with Major General retired Azhar Mahmood Kiani Saab, where, we congratulated his team. And I think it was a moment of pride for all Pakistanis as well, because now we've actually started to produce stunts over here at a very cheaper price. Not just that, I think obviously stunts is a very life-saving product, and it must be dealt very differently as well. But over here today, in today's Pakistan, everybody wants to look fresh, young. Nobody wants to have
everywhere in the world, actually.
What do we call this?
Wrinkles?
Eye bags.
Eye
Nobody
bags.
wants them. Nobody wants wrinkles. Everybody wants their nose to be straight, or probably chins to be extended and look perfectly fine. And even today, in today's time, which I'm very sorry about, people are actually going to go to doctors or cosmetologists or dermatologists for that matter and telling them that, hey, you know what, we need to look like a Snapchat filter. So, I think that's something which is very extra. But talking about innovative technologies over here, we have somebody, ladies and gentlemen, who's actually conquered this entire area of, cosmetology and aesthetics and all of it as well. And because of the fact that he came up with this program, which is non-surgical, and you can actually have the body and the looks of when you were 25 or 22 years old. And even for that matter, if you're going to tell him that, we want to look 18 years old, he's one of those people who's actually conquered it all. So we are going to ask him, how did he do that? Obviously, when we talk about that, it's only him who came up with this kind of technology as well. So the technology needs to be produced and well thought by himself as well. Ladies and gentlemen, he's world over. He's actually known as Dr. Q or Dr. Cute as well, but he is, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Dawood Qazi, who's consultant cosmetic physician himself. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Good morning, assalamu alaikum.
So thank you very much for joining us, and it's wonderful to have you over here.
It's a pleasure being here.
The world is in love with you because you make them look like that they eventually somebody will love them as well. So I think that this is something which I need to ask you is that whenever we talk about aesthetics, just 5 years ago, I think nobody wanted an aesthetic job done on their face or on their body as well. That's how it was in Pakistan. Now eventually you see that, in every other market you go to, there is a laser clinic or there is a cosmetologist or there is a dermatologist, talking about skin problems and aesthetics. And there are huge aesthetic centers which are coming over here as well. People are getting their belly fat frozen or probably rhinoplasties and whatnot. But you've come up with solutions which are non-surgical. First of all, congratulations, but how did it happen?
Thank you. Basically, I was a surgeon. I was general and laparoscopic surgeon. So in UK, I was doing, and then I went into, I've done my primary of Royal College of Surgeons. Then I went into orthopedics and then Ops and Gynae. I did my primary fellowship of MRCOG and worked for 3.5 years in Ops and Gynae. So there I worked when I was doing my my fellowship program. So I've excelled in because the people, the girls, they had these problems of stress incontinence and their beauty consciousness. And what they did is, when they are pregnant, their hormonal levels are upside down. Okay. So they come up with the you call it cyan melasma, the pigmentation is because of the hormones and stuff. So they are quite worried about it. And my interest before that was into these things, into skin. When I was a general surgeon, I used to do mini cholecystectomies. There was no lap chole at that time. Right. Okay. So I used to be very gentle with the skin. And I used to be, my mentors and my professors, they used to be very angry that, just finish it up, The anesthetists and the surgeons, they're very short-tempered. So, and I used to be very delicate, and I had this obsession that when I stitch the scar, it should not be seen, at all. Even 85 years old girl, if I'm doing her gallbladder operation, so I would stitch the skin so that nobody can see it.
Wow.
From there, then in 2000, I introduced non-surgical solutions because I was into lasers. What we did is for stress incontinence, my name is into the invention and advancement of those lasers, which, our mothers, our elder sisters, aunties, etc., when they've given childbirth, so when they cough, sneeze, or laugh, so they leak water.
Okay.
So that's a big problem, and because of that, they slowly and steadily they go into depression, and they stop going to the functions and stuff. So in that, we worked on ultrasound based technology, and this HIFU, the vaginal thing, which tightens the pelvic floor muscles. So I worked in that, and my name is in the invention and the advancement of that.
Wow,
So
brilliant.
yeah. Then lasers, obviously my interest was, I've got my 58 formulas which are world recognized for skin whitening, for different things.
Yeah.
And I am into advancement of lasers. I manufacture them, I advance them just for my own fun. I'm not selling it or anything, but I do work on it. So if you give me anything, say you give me a car, which is a normal car, 2000 cc. So the structure is the same, but the inside things I'll change and make it a very high power, high engineered thing,
Right, brilliant.
but you-
But sir, sorry Shahzad,
Yeah,
I'm
go
cutting
ahead.
you here. But sir, do you think that, like Shahzad mentioned earlier as well, ever since non-surgical interventions came in, a lot of people have been encouraged to actually, well, get all those procedures done? How come they have this trust now all of a sudden?
It's completely, the world is going forward, it's
Yes.
moving forward. Obviously gone are the days of operations.
Right.
If you see, I've got 500-600 hours TV programs on YouTube as a beauty doctor UK.
Wow.
So I've compared all the surgical and non-surgicals. So in exactly same thing and with better results, you can get without surgery. So suppose there are the acne scarring.
Okay.
Okay, the problem here is in Pakistan, what happens is cosmetics has been taken over by the dermatologists.
Yeah.
They are lovely people. Dermatology is a branch of science, which means that they have to deal with the diseases of the skin.
Okay.
Okay, and like cardiology, diseases of the heart.
Got
So
it.
this is dermatology. Second, people who have taken over are the plastic surgeons. Now, suppose you've got lines and wrinkles, okay? Hyperactivity of your muscles, this is not a disease, is it?
Yeah, it's not.
So it's not. Oh, and what can a dermatologist do? I'm not, I'm not against them. I'm not undermining
point,
them.
yeah.
They've got their own job, but they can't do anything.
Okay.
The plastic surgeon, what will they do? Are they going to cut it? No. And the third thing is that the beauty parlor people, they have taken the laser machine and they are doing it to everyone.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is that they don't know the nitty-gritty or the basics of the lasers. So this is very good thing, but this is also very dangerous.
Yeah.
Whenever I say and I talk about these things, I say that two things. The combination is very important. If you give me a Ferrari Formula One car and you ask me to go into Formula One, I'll bang it somewhere. And if you give Michael Schumacher my BMW or my
Right.
Mercedes, he cannot win the Formula One. So to have a good combination, you have to have the state-of-the-art latest technology machines
Definitely.
and the expertise for it.
Which matters, yes.
So which matters. So now these things are unfortunately, because there are no cosmetic, I've offered, and I'll be coming through you and through other channels, I'll be coming and giving them training, because I'm master trainer in Botox, fillers and lasers in the world.
Perfect.
So I'm the trainer of the trainers.
Nice.
So we will, yeah. Please.
Yes, which is why what I wanted to ask away is, and I think that this is the worst part of this particular field, and that is that, God forbid if somebody is going to go for injections, silicone injections, I don't know, what do we call it? I think it's probably silicone, right?
Fillers.
Oh, fillers, yeah. Botox fillers, sorry. Very sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's more women over here in Pakistan who very much know about it as well. But the problem is that you actually have to get back to the doctor every 6 months. You know, so talking about the kind of plan which you're talking about and the formulas you have, is it like a permanent effect, or you still have to go back again and again and get the treatment done?
I think you can look at it from two different angles.
Yeah.
It's something which you have to go repeatedly, yeah, or not 6 months necessarily. Depends on what you are having and how you are having and from whom you are getting it.
All right.
Okay, but in a way, it's a good thing as well. Say, suppose you get a Botox injection or a filler, so you want your lip augmentation. I'm very famous. I'm very badnaam for to be a lip doctor. You know, in UK, people watching in UK, they know. The good thing is that if something goes wrong, people, they can't do it properly.
Yeah.
So what you can do is you can take it away with, it will be automatically resolved.
All right.
You'll come back after a few months,
Yeah.
after a few days, you will come back to your own shape.
I've seen that quite a lot. I've seen people with one eyebrow raised. I've seen people with left side of their lip probably more swollen than the right one. And they just look, God forbid,
That's
very
what-
awful.
So there's never a permanent solution?
There are. I mean, say, in world, there's nothing permanent.
I wish there was, though. If you were to tell me that this is permanent, I'll get it done today. But I just don't want to keep coming
But the
back.
thing is that, you know, let me tell you, if a proper person is doing properly, so the interval between first two injections,
Okay.
say between first and second, if it is 6 to 8 months to 12 months, then between the second and the third, it's a year, 2 years time, or 3 years, and I've not done more than 3 anyway, because the muscle starts behaving. If you know how to inject and which parts, if you properly assess, because the people who have got training here, they've got certificates in 2 hours, and they've been just told put here.
Right.
But you have to be a proper doctor, a proper consultant,
Okay.
so that you assess each and every muscle and you put it into the belly of the muscle. So it stays there.
Right.
It stays for now. I've done it some 6 years back.
Okay.
Now I've got no wrinkles. I didn't repeat it.
Oh.
Now-
All right. So, sorry, just I know we're short on time as well, but this is something we need to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So, where you said that, I think when we need to, we discuss people who are not very familiar with the concept and just quickly get their certificates or degrees. It's very commercial. It's literally so commercial. People do not care
Unfortunately.
about their clients. Unfortunately, yes. No names, of course. I happened to be in conversation with a cosmetologist / dermatologist in Beria Town, who just randomly started suggesting me to get whitening injections, because I don't know,
becoming
Pakistan
personal,
is
guys.
no, Pakistan is, dude, listen, Pakistan is obsessed with it. So what she told me, because I was told before that there's a certain period of time after which you can go, like, one and the next and the next. And she personally tells me, she's like, oh, don't mention it to anyone, but just for the sake of it, I even do 3 in a week. I'll tell you, people tell you to wait certain hours or certain days, and I'm like, you don't have to wait, and she'll just do it. Isn't that, so unfair to the person that you're dealing
That
with?
is, that
And
is.
then you're not informing them that this might be going wrong with your skin in the future.
Shida, I think this is a kind of a jihad, this question which you put, This is very important, very, very important. There's no legislation about it. And the quacks, I would call anybody a quack who is doing a malpractice.
Yes, of course.
Malpractice is so much in this category of medicine that everybody who has done nothing, they come into the cosmetology, and they call them the cosmetologists.
Exactly.
And they are malpracticing. They have not gone, lasers. People have come to me. A girl, after 2 weeks, she had a marriage. So she went to a doctor, very famous doctor. I'm not taking names of anyone.
We better not.
Yeah, she went to that, and for chin hair and something, and for glow.
Okay.
And she said, okay, I'll take these sideburns away. You've got some hair. What do? She said, I thread it.
Okay.
And so okay. And then she came with 2 big burns. And then they found me, and then they was ringing me, and then they came to me, and the girl was crying because in 2 weeks' time she had a marriage ceremony. That's your lifetime
of course.
thing.
That's just one day, man.
Exactly. So you have to be very careful. These are very good things. They are 100% safe if you know how to. Like it's a car,
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Thank
If I
you very
don't-
much, sir. So we're very sorry that we're actually short of time, but I think that this is the message which needs to get across as well, that ladies and gentlemen, I think everybody for themselves need to have some sense as well. And probably I think this is what Dr. Saab said, that you obviously need to have state-of-the-art technology, and you need to have those expertise as well. So Dr. Q is over here in Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Cute is here with us as well. He's one of those people who even judge beauty contests all over the world as well. So I think, and he's got a lot of contribution towards this as well. So I think for everybody who needs to ask him a question, so do you have your own website or any Facebook page?
DOCTOR Dr. Q.
Okay.
.pk.
And Q is the only letter. It's
Yeah,
not,
Q,
it's not
yeah.
a word. All right.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you connect with Dr. Q as well. And please make sure that you connect with us on our Facebook page, which is with the name of
Well This Morning.
On Twitter.
Well This Morning without a G.
On Dailymotion and YouTube.
It's Well This Morning.
And this fabulous repeat is going to be at
5 past midnight tonight.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, towards the end, there's only one thing which I'm going to share, and that's my mindset. I'm sorry that if if anybody gets offended with it as well, but I think that for all of these lines we get, or for all of these scars we get, I think that they tell a story, and they have a story, and it's going to be with you as well. It is totally your choice, the way you want to look, but please make sure that you put in a lot of research and effort in making sure to going to the right person as well. Look after yourselves, because we do not want any lady or boy, for that matter, who's actually getting married in 2 weeks' time and has got burn marks as well. Please make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you look after yourselves.
Well, take care, stay safe. Good morning.
Good morning.